Welcome to today's video. In this video, we will learn what is Selenium. So Selenium is an open source automated tool which automates web browser testing of your web application. That is, it validates your web application on any browsers across any platform that you want. Okay? So automated testing was initially used for desktop applications, but with Selenium, it is also extended for your web applications. And so basically, Selenium is used for testing your web applications. The benefits that are offered by Selenium is of multiple programming language support. Okay? So Selenium supports multiple languages like Java, Python, PHP, Ruby, C Sharp, in which you can write your test scripts, right? So all your test cases, all your testing can be written in any of these languages, and they can be easily integrated into your Selenium. It also allows you to test your web applications on multiple web browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or IE. Okay? So you can test your applications on multiple web browsers. It also has an OS support. So for Windows, for all the versions of Linux, like Ubuntu, Kali, right? And for Mac. So Selenium can be executed on all these OS platforms. Right? So basically, Selenium comes in as four major components. Right? First is the Selenium IDE, which allows you to execute Selenium from your browser. Second is Selenium RC or remote control. So that is deprecated now. It's been merged with the Selenium driver and being offered as Selenium 2.x onwards. Okay. Selenium driver is what will allow you to integrate your uh, your test cases onto your testing your web application. So we'll be looking at what is Selenium WebDriver. And finally, Selenium Grid. If you want to execute your test cases on a larger scales by distributing and running tests on multiple machines and manage different environments from a single point, so in that case, we'll be looking at Selenium Grid. Right? But in today's video, we'll be concentrating on Selenium WebDriver. So let's look at what is the architecture of Selenium WebDriver. So basically, it has these four major components. At the client side, you have the client language bindings. So these are languages in which you can write down your automation scripts. Like we said, it has support for multiple languages like Java, Python, Ruby, C Sharp, etc. Right. So once these test cases that are written in this languages, they are triggered, right? It is converted into your JSON via protocol format, right? So this enables the interaction between your language bindings, and it interacts with the server, right? And it performs the operations on these browsers. So these are your actual browsers with the help of these driver support, which are there for the individual driver. So these browsers, it can make a direct call using each browser native support for the automation. And this native support is being given by your browser drivers, right? So this acts as a translator between server and the browser. Right? So it uses a JSON via protocol. Basically as a REST API over HTTP. So every statement that you are writing in your script, it is converted as a URL with the help of this JSON via protocol. And it is transferred over HTTP to your web browser drivers, right? So this every browser driver, it has its own HTTP server running, and these URLs, they are passed to this HTTP server, right? Once this URL reaches this browser driver, then the browser driver will pass on this request to the actual browser over the HTTP. Right? So we'll be looking at how this whole flows with the help of an example. Right? So when we write a code, we'll be telling you what are these language bindings and what are these driver browser drivers, right? So for every browser, you have a corresponding driver. So for Chrome, you have a Chrome driver. For Firefox, you have a Gecko driver. For IE, you have a IE driver, and so on. Right? Some of the prerequisites that are required for executing your test scripts. Now, since we'll be writing our test scripts in Java, will require a Java to be installed. It will be using an Eclipse IDE for executing, writing and executing the code. Right? Along with this, we'll be also requiring certain TestNG libraries, which can be downloaded from Eclipse Marketplace. So in short, TestNG will allow us to run all the test cases in a single click and will give you the results in a form of a report. And then finally, we'll be requiring the Selenium libraries, which you can download from the official Selenium website. Okay, so these Selenium libraries are the client language bindings and the drivers for your browsers. So we'll be downloading that from the official website. So in general, you will be writing or executing these steps for running a Selenium or executing a Selenium test case. Okay. So first step is you'll be downloading client and WebDriver language bindings from the official website. Okay, so since we'll be writing our test cases in Java, we'll be downloading the Java bindings. So we'll unzip this binding. So there'll be certain jar files which are available, right? These jar files will be integrated with our Eclipse. So we'll be creating a new Java project in Eclipse and integrate these unzipped bindings with Selenium. We'll be installing TestNG from Eclipse Marketplace. Right? So this needs to be done only once for all the projects. So for or any new project that you create, you just need to include this TestNG libraries in the corresponding project that you have created. Right? Once all these settings have been done and all the libraries have been incorporated, you can create a new class. Right? This class will be a test case. Now make sure this class does not have a main method, because test classes, you don't require a main method for its execution. Right? In this class, you will be writing your code for testing. And then finally, you will be creating a TestNG file, testng.xml file, and you'll run the project as a TestNG test project. Right? So let's look at what you can do. Right? So what will be just open, will just open Eclipse page, right? And let me just close all these files. So we'll create a new project, click on File, New Java Project. Right? Once this new Java project is being created, right? Okay. Okay. Let's give a name for our file. So test is a name file. We'll just click on Finish. Right? Now we'll see what all prerequisites are required for us to download. So this is the official Selenium website. If you can just look over here, you have these three flavors: Selenium WebDriver, IDE, and Grid. Right? So from the official website, you just need to go to Downloads. Right? And from the downloads, you can just go and download Selenium clients and WebDriver language bindings. Now, since we are going to use Java, so we'll just click on this Java and we'll download these into a given location. Right? So now I've already downloaded and unzipped these files over here in Selenium Java 4.0. Right? So these are the files that are downloaded and unzipped. Right? So that's our step 2 that we've done. Right? So we have already created a new Java project file. Now let's see how you can integrate these Selenium jar files with Eclipse. So this is our Eclipse. Well, this is a new sample web app that we've created. You just need to right click on this Eclipse and go to properties. Right? So once you're in the properties file, just click on this Java build path on which you can see in this panel, Java build path. Click on libraries and click on class path. Right. Once you click on this, you can do add external jar files. So click on external jar files and look at the unzip folder where you have unzipped the recently downloaded Java bindings. Right. So this is Java Selenium Java 4.0 files that we have just now downloaded. You need to select all the jar files and open it and get it into the environment. Okay. Again, select the class path, click on add external jar files and add all the necessary library files. Right. So in this lib folder, select that and select all the files and click on open. Okay. Click on apply and close. Right. So you have all your Selenium files now integrated with your Eclipse files. Now let's download the so this step 4 is done. Now you need to install TestNG from the marketplace. So just go to help and click on Eclipse Marketplace. Okay. Once you go on Eclipse Marketplace, you just need to find TestNG using this search option. Right. Once this marketplace is loaded, we will search for TestNG and look for TestNG for Eclipse. Right. So in this search option, you just give TestNG and press enter. It will search for TestNG for Eclipse. Right. This first option that comes over here. So you will see in my case, it's already installed. But in your case, if it is not installed, you will get an option like this to install. Just click on install. And once all the installation is done, you need to restart your Eclipse so that you can integrate these Eclipse, these library files into your project. Okay. Now, integrating this library into your project, just again click on, right click on the project, go to properties, and again go to Java build path and libraries. Select on class path. Right. Now, once you are over here, you have to click on add library. Once you click on add library, you will get a TestNG option over here. Just click on TestNG, click on next and finish. Right. You will see that this TestNG is being added over here. If you just do apply, you can see that in your project, this TestNG over here is being added. Just do apply and close. Now, in your source code, our next step, so we have already included our TestNG libraries in the project. So right after this, we will just write our test code over here. Right? So for that, what we will do is we need to just click on source, click on new class, right? Give a name. So let's say sample test. Right? Make sure that this is not ticked because you don't want to include a main method in your test class. Just click on finish and you will have a sample main class being created. Right? Now in this, we'll just add some test cases. Right? So this is my sample test case that I have included. Right? I will go in this one by one. But let me first copy this code over here. Okay. So if you see adding of this automatically imported these three files. Let me close this. So what you are doing is you are just creating a web driver, right? So in our Selenium WebDriver architecture, if you've seen, we have already downloaded this Java bindings. So this language bindings are the jar files we've just now integrated with our Eclipse. We'll be looking for these web drivers. So this web driver is a sample web driver that we'll be creating. Right? So the web driver that we'll be creating would be for a Firefox driver. Right? So for Firefox, we've seen that there is a Gecko driver. Right? So if you just look at the official website, you can see that for your platforms, the browsers that are supported, inside this, you can see Firefox has been supported. So Gecko driver needs to be integrated. Right? So these are all the browsers that are supported. and these are all the operating systems that are supported. Right? So we'll be using Firefox. So Pico driver is what we'll be using. So we'll be adding this driver into our system properties. So system.set property webdriver.Pico driver, and we'll be giving a location where this Pico driver can be found. So we've stored this Pico-driver.exe file into our in D. So you can download this from the official website. Right? Once this property is being set, you can just create a new driver for your Firefox. So Firefox driver will be created. Now using this driver, you will pass on request to be executed on your actual driver. Okay? So this Firefox driver will open a Firefox browser and will execute all the commands over here. Right? So what we'll be doing is we'll be just opening a website. So we'll just open the our college website over here, and we'll just check the contents. Right? So we'll just check the title which is there, which it is whether it is mapping to the actual title or not. Right? And whether it if it maps with the actual title, you will say that the test is passed, otherwise the test is failed, and we'll close the driver after that. Right? Now all this code will be written, and after this codes are written, you have to give annotations. Now annotations are way by which you have to tell that these are the specific methods that you want to execute. Right? So @test is the root of all the test-ng test cases or test classes. So these method will be executed. Right? Some of the other annotations are like @before method, or @after method, or before class or after class. And so these will be executed before executing a particular method, or before executing a particular class, and so on. Right? So that you can write down the methods and classes with respect to that. Right? Now, once this is done, right, the next step that you need to do is you need to create a testng.xml file. Right? So this testng.xml file can be just created by just click on testng file. Just click on the project, right click, and once you have this testng, you just click on this convert to testng. Right? Once this is done, it will give you a sample XML file which will be created. Click on finish, and you can see that this testng file is being added. Right? Let's have a look at what is this testng file. So it will just tell you that what is the test suite name, what is the test file name. So if you just see, this is the class name dot sample test. Let's remove this dot file because there's no package under which we have written this. So if there was a package name over here, you could write package / the name of the file. Right? And this sample test is this sample test that you have written over here. Right? Okay. So let's save this file and execute this as a testng test. Right? So once we execute this as a testng test case, select sources to save. Okay, we'll select all, save. Click on run as testng test, and you can see that this is being executed. Let's restore it back to its original places. And once this is being executed, it will give a command to run Firefox. Right? Since this is being executing first time, it will take some time for it to execute. You can see that the Firefox is being opened. Once the Firefox window is being opened, you can see that it has visited the website over here. This one's website is being visited, right? It will take the title. So this will take this title and map it on with the given text that it is expecting, right? And then it will give the test passed as results, right? At the end, it will give us a report of how many tests have been executed, how many are passed, and how many are failed. So in total, there was one test that was executed, one is passed, and 0 failed. Right. So in all, we can see how many tests were successfully executed and how many test cases failed to execute. Right. So in this way, you can easily create test cases and test your web applications.